Good afternoon, everybody. I'm KHOU 11 News anchor Ron Trevino coming to you from the KHOU newsroom. We hope you're enjoying your Tuesday afternoon. We just want to get you caught up on some of the stories that you're clicking on our website, khou.com, and clicking on our KHOU app, which you should download if you haven't done that already. And of course, these are some of the stories that we'll have for you coming up at 4 o'clock on the 411. Okay, so let's start with some news about the Astros. They could be getting a new manager. How about that? And it could be this guy, Dusty Baker. Houston Astros are finalizing a deal with Dusty Baker to become their new manager, a person with knowledge with the negotiations, has told the Associated Press. Now, this is USA Today Sports' Bob Nightingale being the first to report the news of the Astros zeroing in on Baker, calling it a, quote, perfect choice for manager after the firing of A.J. Hinch following that Astros sign-stealing scandal. Now, Baker is 70 years old. He last managed with the Washington Nationals. We know the Nationals. He was their manager from 2016 to 2017. He had stops in Cincinnati, Chicago, and San Francisco before that. He led the Giants to the 2002 National League pennant while also leading his squads to playoff appearances in each of his managerial stops. So he's a winner. He's produced 8 postseason teams, including 6 division champs over the course of his career. He's also a 3-time National League Manager of the Year, so he could be the new manager of the Houston Astros, Dusty Baker. Let's see, but these are reports from somebody with knowledge of the negotiations there, so we'll see what happens there. Let's take you to League City now. A story coming from League City Police. The man accused of sexually assaulting a child he met via an app has turned himself in after seeing photos of himself circulating online. The suspect is identified as a man from Texas City, Joel Christopher Acuna. He's 28 years old. Police in League City said he turned himself in on Tuesday after his photos went viral on social media. Acuna has been charged with aggravated sexual assault of a child, a first-degree felony. He's in jail on $250,000 bond. Now, this assault happened on December 8th. Police said the child, who was under 14 years old, was contacted via the Likey app. Acuna told her he wanted to offer her a modeling contract and they needed to send a representative to her house. This is according to police. The victim gave Acuna her address, and only 15 minutes later, Acuna arrived at the victim's home and assaulted her, according to police. Now, police say this Likey app, it's L-I-K-E-E. They say it's similar to TikTok, but Likey allows you to find people near you using your GPS. Now, police also say there could be more cases. They're encouraging parents to talk to their kids about being contacted to do any kind of modeling, especially on this Likey app. Disturbing story there out of League City. Let's talk more about Kobe Bryant today. Here's a story that makes things even sadder. One of the last things that Kobe Bryant and his 13-year-old daughter Gianna did before they died in that helicopter crash on Sunday was attend church. Father Steve Sallet with Our Lady Queen of Angels Church in Newport Beach, Orange County, is speaking to local media out there about the father and daughter attending Mass. The father says he was here before the 7 a.m. Mass, and that's our first Mass of the day. Father Sallet told KABC in an on-camera interview, so he would obviously have been in the prayer chapel before that, and he was leaving about 10 to 7. Now, Father Sallet said Kobe and Gianna, known as Gigi, received communion before boarding that fatal flight. 7 other people also killed when that helicopter went down in foggy conditions on the way to a youth basketball tournament. So sad everybody is about everybody that was killed in that helicopter crash. And now we're hearing that Kobe and his daughter attended Mass before that crash. Let's talk about the weather now. It's a dreary day in Houston. David Paul has more on that and what's to come. Hey, David.
It is a dreary day. I think the rain, the heaviest stuff, will move out. Before we get to the weather, I wanted to very quickly give you all an update on what's breaking right now. Geoscience-wise, there's been a massive earthquake that has occurred just off the Cuban coast, just south of Cuba. It's right here. This is a tweet. I've just put out a tweet on this, and I've got a link to the U.S. Geological Survey. They've got updates on it as well. It's a 7.7 magnitude. That is a huge earthquake. That is a huge one. Big enough so that, so again, that's where the quake was, south of Cuba. That's Miami right there. So we're 150 miles away, and they have had to evacuate some buildings in Miami as a precaution because of the shaking of the ground as far away as southern Florida, even though the earthquake occurred on the south side of Cuba. So again, follow me on Twitter, David Paul KHOU. I've got a link to the USGS where we're updating the situation there with that earthquake. There are tsunami waves possible for Jamaica, southern Cuba, and the Cayman Islands. That's something else that we're monitoring there as well. The weather here in Houston. Dreary, winter-like. It's 60. We've struggled to get out of the 50s today. Got a southeast breeze, so it's not northwest yet, but it will turn northwesterly. There's a cold front coming in this evening that's really going to drop the temps. It's a tremendously dynamic weather day across the southern plains. You can see how the winds are coming up across Houston and then curly-cueing right into low pressure. Remember we talked about this yesterday? That low was in the Panhandle yesterday. It's only moved a couple of hundred miles, and it has intensified, and it's centered here just north of Wichita Falls. Look at the winds feeding up across the Dallas metro area. They've got southerly winds gusting to 25 right now. That's the core of the surface storm. That's intense surface low pressure right there. That is what eventually is going to drive a cold front through here and give us a west-northwest wind and bring in some cold air. There is cold air coming in off the high plains of the Texas Panhandle, and that cold air is eventually going to get into Houston later on this evening. So you're going to need your coats tonight and tomorrow morning. In the meantime, we've got this prefrontal trough, and it's kicked off this line of showers. We've had a couple of flashes of lightning and thunder, but it hasn't been too big and bad, and we're not expecting anything severe. And you can see this is all that's left of the rain, and I really think it will just be that line pushing east across Chambers County, Liberty County, eastern Harris County over the next hour or two. And it will skedaddle out of here. There is some minor ponding on the roadways where this rain is coming down. So be careful. Baytown East Freeway, I-10 over to Mont Bellevue, Highway 90 up to Liberty. There may be some little pockets of high water on the roads, little puddles across the Gulf Freeway and down to League City as that line moves through. But again, not severe, but heavy enough to cause a little bit of ponding. Here's the setup. We've got a frontal boundary out to our west. That's going to be the leading edge of the colder air. There's all the rain out ahead of it. The actual front with the wind shift to the west-northwest won't happen until this evening. This is 8:30 this evening. Cold front moves in, turning windy and much colder. We will be outside tonight for KHOU 11 News at 10, or at least I will be, and I expect it to be very windy and cold. Don't worry, I brought my coat today, so I'll see you at 10 o'clock for that update. And then here's tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. It is going to be windy and cold at the bus stop and for your commute tomorrow morning. This is just wonderful. It rarely sets up where we get this dramatic a shot of the winds. So again, here's North Texas. There's Wichita Falls. There's Dallas. Look at this beautiful, tight area of low pressure. You can really see how you get that counterclockwise flow around surface lows, and that's what that is. That's a beauty. That's what's pulling in these winds. And then by 6:15 in the morning, Wednesday before that, look at how the winds come out of the northwest as the low moves into Louisiana. That'll be our low position, and that wrap around northwest wind will be cold tomorrow morning. Winds are not going to be incredibly strong with this, but they will be enough to where you're going to notice it. By 9 o'clock tonight, coming out of the northwest at 10 to 15, they'll gust to 20. And then tomorrow morning, again, sustained at 15, gusting to 25 or so, especially on the coast. This is 6:30 tomorrow morning. That'll be a cold wind. You see all the reds and yellows offshore. The winds really intensify offshore. They'll be sustained at 25, gusting to 35. Gale watches are up. If you're watching us from the rigs, good afternoon, oil workers. It is going to get windy and cold out over the Gulf of Mexico tonight and tomorrow. Here's the extended forecast then. Tomorrow we do clear out. We see a little sun, but it's colder. It's windy, 40s and 50s all day, even with some sunshine. Then clouds and rain chances return for Thursday and Friday. And right now it looks like we're going to clear out and have a gorgeous weekend. Chilly on Saturday, west wind 40s and 60s. A little more mild on Sunday, 43, high near 70. That's still a cool sunny day. That's a beautiful weekend. Enjoy that. And then another system comes in early next week for another rain chance. Okay, so a lot to talk about with these big changes taking place during the day today. We'll have an update at 4 o'clock on the TV side on the 411. We'll see you then.